Good morning, good Sunday morning, and welcome to my video for Tammy Van Antwerp's collaboration on Self-Care Sunday. Tammy started this as her own self-care journey, and now she's opened it to other YouTubers and followers, subscribers, and anybody else who feels like they may have an interest in improving their self-care. She is giving prompts, and this morning her prompt was to continue with what we had already started, which was finding the things or remembering the things in childhood or when you were younger that lit you up, things that really sparked you. And she asked us to make a list, and then the next week was to act on those lists. So maybe if coloring was your jam as a kid, bring those coloring crayons out and color. My list was short and sweet. My list was love and music, and then later in life, nature and camping. So I did a collage last week. This week on this morning when Tammy was talking, she's talking about meditation. She did pull one of her cards for inspiration to give her something to focus on today. And so I thought I might talk about that just for a minute, but I want to light our candle. And this candle is actually made by Tammy's, almost said her dad, her husband, over at the Lunar Mandela on Etsy. He really uses some high quality scents. I think this is a soy candle. I don't know, but it has that creaminess to it, and the scent is very strong and warm. I'm very sensitive to those kinds of things. And so far, his candles and his wax melts haven't bothered me at all. I have them all over my room. So there's our candle, and we're just going to take a breath. Just take a breath. And when you take a breath in through your nose to the count of 5, and out through your mouth through a straw, an imaginary straw through your lips to the count of 5. Ready? And while I take that breath, I just let, like a wave, I let all the clutter from the morning leave. And I'm here with you doing this. It's just a way to let me focus. Like some people pray, some people go for a walk. This is just my way of shifting gears, claiming my space for this time with you guys. That's part of my self-care. I've done it for years, and as a therapist, I've taught people how to do that. It really helps with anxiety, depression, scattered thoughts, inability to focus, those kinds of things. Just take a breath. So, I was watching Tammy pull her card for affirmation. I have had these cards, I don't even know, years and years and years. When I was diagnosed with lupus, a lot of things became very clear to me. Hold on just a second. I can tell you're kind of shifted. How's that? Yeah, a lot of things came clear for me. I had basically all the symptoms of lupus. I thought I was going into my local provider at the time when the symptoms were really bad. We were living on our farm, and there was no medical care really close. And then a tiny little clinic opened up our population of the town we were in was 400. So that tells you how small it was. So when this clinic opened up, everybody just thought, oh, great. Oh, hazelnut. And so she became my provider. She was a nurse practitioner. And she took care of the community. And I was going into her about every week. And I was convinced I had the flu. I felt feverish. I ached all over. I couldn't get out of bed. I would lay on the couch and just shiver, and sometimes I'd have a horrible migraine, and I had pneumonia all the time, and my health care was really out of control. And that went on for a couple years before I got diagnosed. And I got diagnosed because I really had life-threatening lung issues. So they diagnosed me and started me on treatment for lupus, and I began to heal. So that's a quick synopsis of my lupus journey, really quick. But when I started to feel better, I really wanted to find a practice or find something that I could do quickly in the morning to set my day, to just set the mood, basically. Because I would get up in the morning, and this is the way I've always been, and I would hit the ground running. And we used to joke at the farm that we woke up like your ass was on fire, because there's just so much to do. And even before that, I've always been a go-getter, would get this done, get that done, and then go to bed exhausted. And the days would get away from me, and I'd sit back and go, my gosh, what happened today? Is it already over? Wow. So I wanted to find a way to start the day in a different way. So I started looking at oracle cards. And at that time, Facebook wasn't around, and the internet we had a modem internet, and it was pretty hard to find anything of value on the internet, really. So I found these cards, long story short, and I started using them. What I did was I would pull a card each morning, and I would take what the card said and see if it applied to what was going on in my life, and try to implement those kinds of things, however it sparked me. Whatever it sparked in my psyche, then I would implement that in my day. And just for the day. And I'd pull a card every day. And when I say pull a card, what I mean is that I would take a breath to be in this space with my cards. And I can't shuffle these, they're just too big. But what I would do, now see, I can see a card right now that's calling to me. Can you see which one it might be? It's this one right here. It's a little bit different than the rest. It almost looks like it's coming out that way. There is no right or wrong. It's just a way to pick a card. That's all. I love these cards. They're bright and pretty. Oh, look at the artwork, guys. Oh, love it. Can you see it through the glare? Energy work. Life can be electrifying because its very in essence is energy. Your body is a remarkable energy field that will positively respond to loving treatments. Your hands and heart are activated to give healing energy to your loved ones and clients. So, this is really funny because one of the things that I wanted to talk about during my self-care video was energy. Stones have energy. The air around us has energy. if we allow ourselves, we can be consumed with fragmented energy. That's anxiety. When you can't keep a clear thought and you kind of get that, oh, and your heart rate comes up and your breath comes up and you feel like the world is kind of closing in and you get that tunnel vision and you feel like you're going to have a panic attack or an anxiety attack. This is energy. And it's always amazed me that things, animals, storms, the energy involved in all of that. So I've always been interested in energy work. And I got a kick out of Oprah when she started saying, you're responsible for the energy you bring into a room. And I agree with that. I agree with it. You try to communicate with somebody and you haven't checked your energy at the door, and you're angry or you're frustrated or you really feel like you want to attack them for what they've done or not done or said, it comes across that way, and you've already started the conversation off on the wrong foot because they may very well be defensive. So it's a good idea to take a breath in through your nose, out through your mouth, and just get your energy right. So for instance, if I were to pull this card today, this would set my intention for the day. Check my energy. If I were going to work, or say I was not working that day and I was on the farm and I was going to be working with the horses or something, horses are very intuitive. I would try to keep this card in mind. And what I would do is I would just leave it out for the day. So when I walk by, I may put it on the dining room table and light a candle and set it against there just to kind of remind me, walking by out of the corner of my eye, oh yeah, my energy. Let's just take a breath. So I use oracle cards that way. I use them as a daily reminder. Some people pick up their Bible or other religious doctrine and they get inspiration from that. Some people will go for a walk and maybe a butterfly will come their way and cross their path, and it reminds them of a loved one, and that loved one was this way or that way, and that is what helps them get through the day. That's what I use oracle cards for. And in my never to be humble opinion, oracle cards are not witchcraft. And a lot of people, some people really believe that this is all of the devil. They're entitled to believe that. But it is what you put into it and what you take out of it. And it's also what witchcraft means to you, the very definition of witchcraft. Because different cards, oracle cards, other kinds of cards, could be used in a witchcraft practice. In my never to be humble opinion, that may very well not be a bad thing. Some people practice witchcraft in a very healthy way, and I'm cool with that. And as a therapist, it's so important to be able to do enough research that you can respect where someone comes from, whether they practice witchcraft or they don't have a higher power, or wherever they're at in their spiritual journey. So that's my quick synopsis of what these cards mean to me and how they work for me. And I think that's part of what is so cool about working with oracle cards and some other cards as well, is they're so open to interpretation. And I would recommend working with cards for anybody who's looking for something fast and positive to shift your focus and reset your energy into a positive direction each day. It takes less than 30 seconds. And for me, it was really helpful. I'd had cards for a long time, but I hadn't ever developed a daily practice. So when I started getting oracle cards, it really helped me to develop a daily practice. And I still pull cards. I will pull cards for my kids. They'll call me and say, "Hey, Mom, can you pull a card for me?" And I will. And speaking of energy, I went to our local shop and took a training on becoming a Reiki master. And Reiki work is all about energy. And so it just fit with me. It was very comfortable for me to learn and to practice. And I practice Reiki on a regular basis to myself. And I check my chakras and make sure that I am balanced. And when I'm not, I try to, and it's not about perfection. Nothing is always. But when I can tell that things just aren't right, I come back to those kinds of things. My energy. What is your energy? What are your thoughts? So that's what I do. And Tammy talks a lot about her spiritual journey, and I think it's so healthy. So healthy. It's so important that we find things in our lives that soothe us. It doesn't have to be oracle cards. It can be just taking a break. When I was younger, when I was in my 20s and I smoked, I used to just step outside and have a cigarette. And that was when we smoked indoors. But when I worked nursing, it got really hectic and sometimes it got really sad. And I would just step outside, smoke a cigarette, take a breath, come back in. And that was long before I ever got involved with cards or energy work or any of that kind of thing. So I just wanted to share that little bit of my practice and let you guys know what it means to me. And I love these cards. They are so pretty. I've given this deck to many, many people. And I just love them. So I hope that inspires you to find a way to gather yourself and be responsible for the energy you bring into this space every day. I also wanted to share a couple of things. I went to an estate sale, and the person in the home, who knows who that was, but they had an entire library of spirituality, energy. They had magnetic measurers and electronics and all really interesting stuff. I could have spent a lot of money there, but I didn't. I bought these two things and a stapler. I have not read this book, but I love Eckhart Tolle. And if you guys have read this, let me know what you think. It looks like the person that was reading this got this far. But, so I picked this book up. I can tell by the title, The Power of Now, that it really probably has to do with recognizing that that's all we have is now. The past is gone, the future hasn't happened yet, and there is a lot of peace when you can focus on now, right this second. Well, my finger is on this page right now. And that's what we teach in meditation. You are here to enable the divine purpose of the universe to unfold. That is how important you are. You Are Not Your Mind, The Way Out of Pain, Moving Deeply into Now. So I think I might try to keep this around and read it. I am not a reader like you, Tammy. This kind of stuff I can read, but I don't sit and read for hours. I can't do that. And right now I have such double vision, it's really hard to read anything. I have read this. I don't remember if I read all the way through. I can't remember now. I don't remember if I read it, but it's been years ago, and I still have my copy, but I picked this up because, I don't know, I love the book. The author, Gary Zukav, this book was pretty revolutionary, really. It's deep. That's what I used to tell my patients. It's a great read. It's very encouraging. It's very spiritual, and I would highly recommend it for anybody that's searching. It's very enlightening. I love this book. So I think I'll probably drag out my copy and just remind myself of some of the things he talks about. Yeah, it's great books. Great books. These are the kinds of things I read. I just have never been able to read novels. I get lost. I can't focus. I don't remember what I read. These kinds of things stick with me because I can put them down and they're not plot driven. I could put it down, pick it up and read a page or two, put it down. So that's what I read. Okay, guys, I'm not going to keep you. This is just my short video on Self-Care Sunday. I hope that you are finding time to do some self-care. I may do a little bit of collage today and video that. I'm still working on the dark book, so I need some paper for that. So I might make a master board, a dark master board. I'm not sure. But Tammy, I appreciate your Self-Care Sunday collaboration. And again, it's an open collab. You don't have to have a channel. It's not designed to design your self-care for yourself. It's just designed to inspire you to have one and figure out what that is for you. As always, it's so important. If you do struggle with depression, anxiety, or any other emotional or mental issues, that you seek the help of a professional. It's so important. And therapy and medication and group therapy can be so helpful and surprisingly quick to establish a relationship with a professional and start to work. And I mean, I know people who love their therapy. They're learning and they're changing and they're able to claim their space and control their lives direct their lives in a more positive way. So I would say that if, you know, this is just self-care. It's just all about taking care of yourself. So go and watch Tammy's video. I hope you're having a great Sunday. And let's all take care of each other. Bye.